It's Here First from IPR. I'm Megan McKinney. Decorah City Council members are being asked again to consider how the city works with ICE agents, and there's been a confirmed case of measles in Polk County. It's Thursday, July 9th. The Decorah Human Rights Commission wants the city to end its cooperation with ICE agents, but that would go against state law. Here's more from IPR's Gavin McGough.
The commission recommended the so-called separation ordinance to the city council on a split vote. If council passes the ordinance, it will make Decorah a sanctuary city. That's illegal under Iowa law, which requires local governments to cooperate with federal agents. Joshua Talcon is an organizer supporting the ordinance. He says that law is unjust and Decorah must resist it.
Overwhelmingly in our communities in Iowa, ICE getting people through our jails. And so that is the method in which we get them out of our communities, is by passing policies like the separation ordinance.
Decorah City Council voted down a similar ordinance last fall. Now it must revisit the issue. I'm Gavin McGough, IPR News.
A small northwest Iowa town at the center of a debate over a proposed data center is now considering a one-year moratorium so it can develop regulations. The Salix City Council voted 3-2 last night to advance the proposal introduced by Council member Gene Monk. A final vote is expected next month.
People of our town, was it 70-some people signed a petition? If we're up here on the board and our job is to represent the town, what are we doing?
People both supporting and opposing the proposed data center spoke during the meeting. A Mid-American Energy representative told the audience the company is still evaluating the site and searching for an end user. He also tells IPR News a moratorium could delay the project. Salix, located south of Sioux City, voluntarily annexed about 900 acres of farmland in April for the project. Mayor Kevin Nelson says he's received death threats over the issue. FEMA has approved $22 million for flood buyouts in Rock Valley. Now, another Northwest Iowa community is hoping its approval is just around the corner. Here's more from IPR's Sheila Bremer.
2 years after historic flooding damaged a majority of homes and businesses in Spencer, the Clay County city is still waiting for FEMA to buy out flood-damaged homes. City manager Kevin Robinson says they expect funding for 25 properties to come within the next 2 weeks. 15 other houses will be covered through a local program.
It's quite a journey for someone who gets flooded out in a disaster. The time of the disaster to the time of acquisition can be incredibly stressful.
FEMA has already awarded nearly $5.5 million to Spencer and the local school district. Robinson says the city has also developed a flood response plan to protect residents from future disasters. One man was killed during the flooding when water swept his pickup into the river. In Spencer, I'm Sheila Brummer, IPR News.
There's been a confirmed measles case in central Iowa. The Iowa Department of Health and Human Services confirmed the first case of this year. HHS says a vaccinated adult from central Iowa acquired measles during international travel. The state has shared locations the infected person visited between July 1st and July 5th. Health officials say if you think you have been exposed to measles and have symptoms, call your medical provider or your local health department. Symptoms of the highly contagious disease include fever, cough, runny nose, and a rash. Officials say the MMR vaccine is the safest and most effective way to prevent the disease. Iowa reported a total of 9 confirmed measles cases last year. It's Here First from IPR. I'm Megan McKinney. Have you ever just wanted to quit your job and open your own business? It's a big risk. Well, one Iowan did take that risk a couple years ago, and we're going to hear her story in just a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back. It's Here First from IPR. I'm Megan McKinney. Becky Massman is leading the way for small food businesses in Newton by opening a shared-use kitchen, not only for herself, but for her community. Before that, though, she gave up a career in corporate that she held for about 20 years. We hear more about her big life change in this story from Next Gen Journalism.
So 2025 was all about light bulb moments. But really the moment that said, let's go, was quitting my day job. A whole gamut of emotions there. What am I doing? I've got to be crazy for doing this. Hi, my name is Becky Massman. I'm the owner of Carpe Macaron, a micro bakery in Newton, Iowa, as well as Newton Commercial Kitchen. So Every time I'm going to set up, I start with my eggs because the eggs need to be at room temperature to make better meringue. I measure all of these things out, and I'm going to sift the almond flour and powdered sugar together. So my macarons, I would say that's what I'm known for, is having very flavorful fillings. Recently, my most popular has been pink lemonade, and it's a raspberry buttercream, and then I fill the center of the cookie with lemon curd. In 2021, I had a friend getting married, and for her bridal shower, I was in charge of all the food. Justine loved macarons, so we for sure put them on our menu. And that event led me to giving some leftovers to another friend, who then hired me for their daughter's baby shower, and then it really just kept growing. During my career, I spent close to 20 years as an accountant in various sized organizations and types of roles. But in 2022, I said, you know what? I think there's enough going on here that I could make this an actual business. So I started growing that through a monthly subscription box. And when that was going well, I started looking for pop-up options. I hit a point in 2025 where I realized I'm expanding. I can't run out of a home kitchen forever at the volume I'm growing to. And that's when I learned that there's really not a lot of spaces in Iowa for businesses to scale into without making the investment for themselves. So that got me thinking, how could I do this? That led me to the very beginning ideas of Newton Commercial Kitchen. The goal really is to have a space that people can be successful in and eventually graduate out of. I've always known that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I grew up with a family that was always pursuing various small businesses. My mom in particular, also a baker. So I grew up seeing that happen, and that's always was in my mind. But then when I went into the corporate world, I got bogged down with a lot of the risks. Leaving my corporate job, there's definitely sacrifices for sure. Going from a regular paycheck, set benefits, more specific hours, and set duties, that takes a lot of planning. And I would say probably the first 60, 90 days after I left my day job was just trying to figure out every day what needs to be done. What's my new routine look like? Deciding to quit my job was just this amazing release that said, you know what, you've had all these thoughts, you can finally act on them and finally go. There's days where it's like, what am I doing? But I've been finding amazing help along the way. One thing I would want everybody to know is you don't have to go on a linear timeline. It's not you're going to go from point A to point B to C. You can make all the plans you want, but for me, learning to plan for flexibility and to just have the knowledge really made me feel like I was lucky because I was ready to act when the opportunities appeared.
That's Becky Massman, who lives in Newton. Her story was produced by Joanna Wong and comes to us from Next Gen Journalism, an organization that finds, coaches, and trains public media's next generation. You can find more of their stories from their recent workshop here at IPR at nextgenradio.org. We've also been sharing them this week, and Here First will have the last story tomorrow. I'm Megan McKenney. Really needed to hear that today. Not everything is linear. I hope you have a great Thursday.